Hello, I'm Gary Lyon and welcome to Access All Areas. There was plenty of action on the weekend and a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into it with Damien Barrett. As always, Damo, welcome. Saturday night, a blockbuster.
It was, and according to Chris Scott, guys, mission accomplished. I found that quote out of that game from him quite staggering, given what happened in the game. 10 goals consecutively.
He said that at half-time.
No, he didn't say it at half-time. He said it after the game. Which I want to get your thoughts on it, though. I mean, he felt, or at least he wanted to convey to the public, that he was happy with what happened. Either he's taking a lend of us, or he knows something we don't.
Well, what he's doing, Damo, he's sitting down saying, we play this football side in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
That's what he's saying. That's coach speak for saying, I'm giving them nothing, we've got them again in 2 weeks' time, so as if I'm going to come out and say, yeah, we're really worried they've got the better of us.
OK, do you believe any of what he says about mission accomplished?
Of course he's got worries. And 10 unanswered goals is a worry always, Damo.
So he wasn't holding anything back in that second half?
Look, if he did a very good job of it, because in the first half they were fantastic, and he would have been delighted with what he saw in the first half. Their ball movement was great, their run and carry was great, their spread was great. He's obviously had a look at the Fremantle tape last week against Hawthorn, where quick ball movement provided them with plenty of issues. And the simple fact of the matter was, Hawthorn weren't able to get their hands on the footy. It was 267 possessions to 167 at half-time. Right. So they'd had the footy 100 more times. And from all reports, Damo, and we all know people within the industry, Alistair Clarkson is measured at the best of times, but can also go when he needs to go. And at half-time, he would have had the vision out of all this sort of stuff and blistered the paint, apparently.
Well, after that spray that you're telling us that he gave, it was just a transformation of game. Now, guys, was it on the back of that spray, or was it partially also because of what we've seen for most of this season, Geelong being unable to run out a full four-quarter match?
Could be that. I mean, the figures would suggest that might be the case, Damo, because four-quarter performances and second halves in particular have been a great issue for Geelong. But this is what Geelong do. They take the game on always, and we sit back as impartial spectators and go, gee, they take a risk. And if you don't get heat on them, the risk turns into reward. But if you get heat on them, as we're seeing in this second half, they can turn the footy over.
So what we're seeing here, is it as simple as Clarkson just saying, just get closer to them? Was it as simple as that? Or was
I've got no doubt the contested possession would have been a real focus, but also to get to the ball carrier as quick as you can. And we saw that in the second half. Get in their face, frontal pressure, all those trendy footy words. And hopefully get a turnover, and we did in the second half.
Hamish McIntosh goes, Geelong ruckman, had a pretty good year when it's all said and done, but got found wanting a few times on this game. Yeah,
there's lots. I mean, you can dissect this a lot of ways. I reckon this is a major problem for Geelong, and we've some great work from our boys here. Have a look at this vision. You'll see McIntosh here. You'll see Hale go back to take the mark. I think Hamish has missed a lot of footy through injury, and he's still coming to grips with the actual tempo of the game. This is really stark.
Tell us what you're showing us here.
Well, look at the scoreline. This is a critical time of the game. And look at Jared Rivers get up and say, Hank. Now, this is why. There's Hamish McIntosh to your right. He's got goal side of David Hale. That's exactly where you want him. That's Jared Rivers, who's goal side. That's his opponent, Jonathan Segler. Rivers doesn't know which one to go to here because he's concerned about Hale. And in the end, Segler takes the mark. So they're trying to cover for each other. And again, what you're going to find is ruckman will take Hank McIntosh forward because I don't think he defends well at all.
OK, for you to highlight that being a real major problem for them in round 22, what options have they got?
They haven't got any, I wouldn't have thought.
So they've got to go with him.
Yeah, and they're going to have to get into Hamish's mindset to say you've got to defend, you've got to run both ways. So that's Saturday night locked up. Hey, a real concern about Collingwood. I mean, their season is effectively over, even though they are a legitimate chance to play in the finals. Injury has cruelled them. We highlighted this on Access All Areas 4 weeks ago.
We did, and it's the soft tissue problems, Gaz. I mean, you look at McCaffrey and Scharenberg, who we'll touch on in a moment, knee injuries out of the weekend, but that right-hand column there is the soft tissue, which is an issue for Bill Davern, the new fitness boss, Gaz. I can tell you that there was an almighty Royal Commission-type inquiry into what was going on at the start of last week. At one stage, Eddie Maguire was calling for heads. Bill Davern will survive this review.
You would. If you were the head of that footy club and you saw that injury list there, and then you watched what happened on the weekend and another couple went down again, the course should be asking questions. You know how big a fan I am of Matt Scharenberg from his under-18
days. For a long time.
The feet injuries, which Collingwood Collingwood were prepared to carry. He's played 4 or 5 VFL games, and then footy tragedy struck that young man.
It did. VFL game. A lot of talk out of it, Gaz. He has done the ACL, out for a year on the back of those foot injuries. He's only playing his 5th VFL game. Did cop a knock to the same leg that he actually did on that particular game. Went back on 10 minutes after.
So he came off the ground with a leg injury?
Yep.
And then it wouldn't be a suggestion.
No, I just want to totally clear this up, because there has been... Well, same leg had been damaged prior to the knee going, but there was a senior posse of Magpie medical staff there who dealt with it, and unrelated incidents, the initial incident on the knee to the one that actually did the knee.
And if there is any scuttlebutt about that, let's put this in perspective. This is roll gold future of your footy club. You wouldn't put him back on if there was any slight doubt about that. Hey, does it work for Luke Ball, though? Because we love this man. He's a great statesman of the competition. Does he get another 12 months on the back of McCaffrey and Scharenberg?
I would say he does. Going into that game, it was no better than 50-50 that he would be staying at Collingwood. Guys, he wants to play on. He's made that very clear to the club and even the competition. He will play elsewhere if he can't get a contract at Collingwood.
Really?
But yeah, he's committed to. Well, going into that round 22, he wants to play on. Right? He wants to play on. Now, whether he changed his mind once the reality of that decision is handed down to him, but I agree with the question, or the concept of the question. Scharenberg and McCaffrey going down helps Luke Ball. 8
touches in the last quarter, only Pendlebury had more with 9. Hey, I know we're getting to the real pointy end of the competition here. 4 legitimate flag favourite.
You reckon there's 5 though, don't you?
Flag contenders became 5 on Friday night, because this footy side, and let's not forget, they're a legitimate chance, Port Adelaide, to still finish in the top 4. Should they roll Fremantle over there, which is a big ask, but if they do, they finish in the top 4 with a double chance, and they're in this race for the premiership up to their necks.
You were trying to convince all of us to not jump off them when they had that really flat patch for 8 weeks. I nearly did, but I listened to you, and
lucky for you.
Although they did only beat Carlton. Guys.
Carlisle and Trengove out of that side during that flat period. They had this shocking illness that no one can quantify as to how big an impact that had. And that guy there, Matty White, also missed games, 2 or 3 games. So I think getting it right at the right time of the year is important, which is what makes this season so exciting. Port Adelaide are getting it right.
Yep. Mark of the week and goal of the week, guys. We don't worry about them on the Access. No, we just go to the pass of the week. And I want you to rate these attempts here. The initial one here by Timmy Sumner. Of Gold Coast.
Yes.
Degree of difficulty very high on that. This is my favoured one before we see the next one of
Alan
Christensen.
Don't ask me if you're going to start giving your preferences. That's a very smart kick as well from Alan Christensen.
Who's smarter?
Oh, well, I'll go with Tim Sumner, but that pains me because that's also what you said. I like this from Courtney Dempsey. Did he mean this, Damo? I want your considered opinion. Did he mean this?
He didn't, but gee, he's given the impression he did. Did not break stride. Have a look at it.
Yep.
And just, look, he knows where it is. No one else does. Watch him here. Knows where it's going, runs on full pelt.
And one stage looked like he might have even kicked a goal. Now, listen, Hawthorn supporters, it's a great privilege to go to a game of footy and shout and yell and scream. Not sure this bloke was as brave when Tommy Hawkins... Watch the little ball slap in the arm. Watch him back off a bit here. Oh, no. And then there was another one down the other end with Tommy Hawkins again. I reckon I'd leave Tommy Hawkins alone. He seems to be enjoying his work, this big fella.
And both these men were holding Gaz had their children with them, setting a really good example.
And we're not suggesting they were swearing or anything untoward like that. It's just your right and privilege.
It's not a good example, though, for the kids.
You can yell out at the footy.
You don't need to engage with the talent on the ground, Gary.
Well, the talent doesn't need to engage with the fan, Damo. It's as simple as this. Look, you're trying to deflect because you've got issues with the score review, which you've been banging on about.
I have, actually. But I've got some good news today. I've already been up to see Wayne Campbell. And this was the contentious issue out of Saturday night.
He's had enough of you, by the way.
Just Sam Mitchell's kick. Your man, big Hank McIntosh, right on the line. Now, see that view there. Okay.
I'm watching that at home, Damo. I'm listening to Brian. I'm listening to our great friend Luke Darcy, God love him, and they're going off their heads. They're saying, what in God's name? I'd suggest, boys, that you go and see your producer and say, you're making me look stupid because you've come up with something special.
Well, they have. That piece we froze there was the fishbowl effect of that near camera, Gaz. They want to use the far camera, which gives it a more accurate... The fishbowl effect, when you look at the close camera...
Wayne Campbell has got to you.
No, I believe Wayne Campbell... They got the decision right because the whole of the ball...
No, 100%.
The whole of the ball had not crossed the whole of the line.
Let's be serious. That umpire, or the third umpire, the goal review umpire, copped a hammering.
Yep.
Rightfully so from the commentators on the night. But then they should have turned around to their truck. That's where the big blue's going to be at Channel 7 today. Don't worry about that. Brian Taylor and Luke Darcy and Richo, they're going to be blueing and I'm with you. So anyway, nice for you. You don't have to go upstairs. But we have got a lot of work
Before I let you go, though, who makes the 8? Who takes the 8 spot?
I'm going for Richmond.
Yep.
First time for the year, I think they might make it.
I think you're losing it. West Coast will get him.
All right, well, I didn't ask you. Keep an eye out this week for the wash-up. Damo and I are going to begin reviewing every club. It starts tomorrow here on afl.com.au. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching. Access all areas. Goodbye.